Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We'll have Buddy Martin here in just a second. A lot to talk about today. Text lines are filled up already, but keep sending your text to us. If you missed it last night in the National Hockey League, your Florida Panthers win their first ever Stanley Cup. And in the College World Series, the Tennessee Vols are your national champs. And Parker Valby will not make the Olympic team. She came in fourth. They take the top three. And, she's still young, so she'll train for the 2028 in Los Angeles and see if she can get that done. Let's go to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, and it's the one and the only, the host of the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to it on YouTube, Facebook, all the different platforms, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good morning, buddy. What's happening?
Good morning, Shane. Oh, to be a Vol fan or even a Panther fan. It was interesting last night, all that going on. For a Monday night, wasn't expecting all that action. Even watched the Olympic trials. Parker Valby, I just felt bad for her. Those three girls who finished ahead are all 28 years old. I don't know what Parker is, probably 20, 21, whenever she's young.
She's 21.
So they say that those distance runners have to be a little older, as was true. And she was good, but she wasn't strong, and she couldn't kick like those girls could. So I think in due time she will be, but she represented well. Congratulations. You had a personal best, but it wasn't good enough to get to the Olympics this year.
Yep, she'll be back. She's tremendous, and she'll be ready to roll for 2028 in Los Angeles. Buddy, let's talk a little the Tennessee Vols.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think about last night. It got to 6-5 was the final. A&M had a chance there in the ninth, didn't get it done. What are your thoughts about their coach, Tony Vitello? Some people do not like him at all. And then, it kind of reminds me a little bit. Now, this is probably a bad comparison, but it just came to mind. Back when the 12 years when Coach Spurrier was the head coach at Florida.
Exactly. I was just going to say
let's be honest.
Yeah.
People hated Coach Spurrier around the country unless you were a Gator fan.
Yep.
Players love playing for him. I kind of feel the same with the way the Tennessee baseball is. Is that a bad comparison?
Oh, it's right spot on, because that's what I thought about. It's like these about Coach Spurrier. He may be an SOB, but he's our SOB. And I think Vitello has stepped up here in recent weeks. He's going to get a lot of money, whether he goes to Texas, which is the hottest rumor, or stays in Tennessee, which I believe he will. And he comported himself in a way that we like coaches to do. At a time when everything's willy-nilly and people are scared to death their shadow about losing players, about not being able to compete in NIL, this guy stepped up last week and said, if you want to come to Tennessee, if you got your hand out, don't bother. I thought that was cool. Now, he had a lot of good players. You can say that. That was one thing. Then he managed that team extremely well. His pitching, he had the guys he needed at the end last night. I thought they pitched really well. And their power, they could hit the baseball for sure. So, well done. Vitello's riding a popularity streak right now. And they're loving him at Tennessee because they won a national championship or something for a change.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if people saw it, but the Texas athletic director was in Omaha last night.
Yeah.
Now, was he there to meet with Tony Vitello after the game, or Schlossnagel, or what? It'll be interesting to see, because there were rumors that their coach was on the hot seat, and they fired him yesterday.
Yeah.
The day that A&M played for a national title.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, we have a text here on the Titan our text line. Says, hey guys, this is from Jim. He says, hey guys, do y'all think Sully will get any interest from Texas? I saw where he's only the 7th highest paid coach in the SEC.
Well, you always
I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that either, but I think some of that will come to him. Monies have gone up since that time. I think salaries have gone up and his will go up. Look, if you're a coach, if you're an AD, he's got to be on your list. That's just how business is done today. Now, whether or not Texas, wants him, maybe they think he's a little too old. I don't know. Vitello's a younger, flashier guy. But in my opinion, if they can get Vitello, they're going to go all over him. Now, one point thing I want to point out to you, look what Vitello's done. Tennessee baseball went 13 years without making the NCAA tournament. 13 years. Then they hired Vitello. Since that time, listen to this. 5 straight NCAA tournaments, $100 million of stadium upgrades, 3 College World Series berths in 4 years, and now a national championship. So coaches make a difference. Vitello's a hot property. He's going to leverage it. I don't know what he'll do, but I think he might stay at Tennessee. They can't afford to have this guy walk. They got their national championship coach now finally. So yeah, will Sully be on people's list? Yes, he will be. I don't think he'll go, but you never know, Shane.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that Texas job for sure. Tony says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melvin Law, Tennessee baseball spends a good amount of money in NIL. Their AD is a star, though people do not like him because of the PR stunts at UCF. Their AD is Mike White's brother. I guess Tony's referring to the PR stunts about how they claimed a national championship or what have you. But yeah, Tennessee is, you look back probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, they were struggling in basketball, struggling in football because they'd had multiple hires. They feel Josh Heupel's the guy right now for football. So Tennessee is riding high. Rick Barnes was there last night. Heupel was in the box. Peyton was in the box. Morgan Wallen was in the box. Everybody who has ties with Tennessee was there rooting on the ball. So
they needed this real bad. They needed this real bad, man. Tennessee.
Yeah, they did for sure. All right, so we're going to get into some football talk here in a minute, but buddy, I wanted to get your thoughts. I don't know if you watched any of the Travelers golf tournament this week on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I meant to talk with you about it last night. We forgot, and I did, and I sort of clicked off and clicked back. I didn't realize Scheffler was winning at the time of the playoff, and I missed it. And if you look at his numbers and what he's been doing, it's very impressive. As we know, I got a little research on it this morning and got some information about it. But I can tell you, this guy not only, he overcame a lot of the whole thing that happened in Louisville. That was kind of a mind bender for him, that incident he had there. But I think this guy's on his way, well on his way, and he's having a run like very few people have ever had in golf. There have been other big years in golf. Vijay Singh won 9 times in 2004. Tiger won 8 events in 99 and 2006. And his 2000 is the gold standard against which all others are measured. Scotty Scheffler became the first PGA Tour golfer since Woods in 2009 to win 6 times in a year. 6 times. And that is actually tracking well with Tiger's 2000 performance. So he's really good.
And he's got several more tournaments for the year's over too. That's the crazy thing. I thought I read somewhere where he was the first player since Arnold Palmer to win 6 events before July 1st.
Yeah, I read that someplace too. You're right, you did. Yeah.
So, Kim on YouTube, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, well, it went away. He must have deleted the text. So, all right. But yeah, Tom Kim, Ju Young Kim, who's 22, one of my favorite golfers, had an opportunity. He birdied, 18, and a buddy of mine, Paul Tesori, who played golf at the University of Florida back in the day, is on his bag now. And boy, when they were had that discussion going on about him hitting a sand wedge, a 60 degree from 110 yards, well, I was just asking for a lot. I wish Kasori would have said, no, man, we need to take one more club, just hit it behind the hole and try to spin it back. But when he hit it in the bunker and it plugged, that was game, set, match.
Yeah, I missed that.
Buddy, what about the crazy ass protesters running on the greens? You see that?
I don't know what that's all about. Security must not have been very good. That kind of crap doesn't belong on a golf tournament. I mean, I can see an individual streaker getting through sometime, but they got a bunch of people there. Oh, and I don't understand how the PGA Tour security let that happen. But I mean, no, and they showed it on TV apparently, right?
Oh yeah, it was all there. Yeah, these police officers did some great tackling of these morons that were out there. They took I think it was only 4 people and 4 or 5, and when they went out there spraying whatever they were spraying, well, these dudes got taken out quickly.
Yeah.
Let's see, tighten up our text line. I'm just waiting on it to pop up here. Daryl says Tennessee was clearly the baseball team in the nation. He probably says best team in the nation. As we all know, it's hard to stay on top now in all sports, especially with the portal and NIL. No doubt. They were very good all year long. All right, this is from Gator Guy. He says, give it up for Coach Vitello and the Volunteers. You said you would want to play for him, and I would too. Just a master motivator and great coach. We are blessed with Sully, but our Gator fans on message boards got to give Vitello his deserved credit.
No doubt.
SEC, Vitello, Sully, Schneisnagel, Joni, 4 best college coaches in college baseball. Can't argue with that. And you left off Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt, who's the highest paid coach in the league. It's a bloodbath between football, basketball, and baseball and softball. Week in and week out in this conference, it's freaking nuts. And it's only going to get more difficult.
Yeah,
but that's why the best players are down here for sure.
Yeah, Shane, what's interesting is Vitello and Schneisnagle were together at TCU. And there's a third guy there too. Vitello, by the way, there's a nice little rivalry developing here and now between A&M and Tennessee and Texas. A&M's always had one, but you mentioned this earlier about how Texas Chris Connie tried to upstage A&M, firing their coach on the same day they're playing for the national championship. So there's going to be there's going to be a little bit of stuff about that. But I think Tennessee now is in the mix. Tennessee's got a rival or 2 now in baseball, certainly A&M, and I'm sure Texas will. By the way, which is the real UT? I got the logos out and looked at them. They both got the same kind of logo, Shane. Texas and
yes and no. The T's are a little bit different if you look closely, but Texas goes more by the horns logo than they do the T.
Yeah.
Where the Vols only have the T because they don't really use Smoky that often.
Well, the burnt
Chad says on. Go ahead.
Burnt orange is different, but you still got the hats, UT. So.
Texas doesn't put Tennessee's hats. All their baseball hats have the big T, except for their black ones have UT.
Right.
Texas's baseball hats only have their T on them.
You would know that being in the hat business like this.
Well, I'm very observant when it comes to uniforms.
I know you are.
Yeah. Dad says Gators and Sully are in the portal big time, lots of turnover. Yeah, I mentioned, I think it was on my program yesterday, you're going to see so many new players on the Gator baseball team next year.
We already have. We have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We talked about it last night. There's only 3 people, starters back, I think. And they signed that guy from Sanford. See, 13-0 or something.
The
pitcher
of the year.
Yeah, and they look at the number of players that left. Shane, do you think that's all because they weren't going to be able to play a couple of pitchers? Sully lost 5 or 6 people to the portal.
No, so it's like I said on your show last night, or maybe it was my show yesterday. And this is every fan base, but I think it's more in football than it is in baseball. because when player X in football has been here, played a little bit, maybe not a lot, but he was highly recruited, and he goes to the transfer portal, everybody's blaming the coaches, right? And raising hell. In baseball, nobody cares when a player leaves, because look, so when the season ended, I sent Sully a text and said, "Hey, great year, blah blah blah," and he sent back. He goes, "Now the hard part, exit meetings, because you got to sit down and say, hey, Buddy Martin, you can stay here, but you're probably not going to play because we're bringing in player X from the portal."
Right.
And that's a way in college sports now that you can release a player, cut a player, so to speak, and it's going to happen. Just because Sully and them, coaches miss on players at times, or the kids reach a potential at the high school level, throwing 100 miles an hour, and then they can't locate or have any movement on their fastball when they come to college, and you can't play them. So it's time for them to move on. But fans don't get upset in the other sports like they do in football when a player leaves. It just cracks me up.
Well, Shane, you have an insight there, and you have a relationship with Sully that most people don't have. I'm just reading this to assess it. I don't get upset about it. Satin and Whitmer, two guys left, 6 and 7 Florida players to enter the portal this season.
Yeah, you'll see more too.
Russell, John Martinez, Sammy Mua, Hunter Jones, and Grayson Smith. They've added 5 players to the portal already, from their portal already. They got.
Well, let me ask you something, buddy. Those gentlemen that you just mentioned, I wouldn't know them. I can't. I'm a numbers guy, and I couldn't even tell you what numbers those kids are, because obviously they hadn't played one inning this year.
Yeah, well, let me just finish what they've got. They picked up Justin Nadeau, Jacksonville, former Texas Tech infielder Landon Stripling, former Miami infielder Blake Sear, former Stetson outfielder Kyle Jones, and former Stanford pitcher Michael Ross, who's like 13-0. So Ross is draft eligible, by the way. There's, as you said, intended purpose there to get rid of some players and add some players, and that's the only way you get better, I guess.
Yep. Hal on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, did Scheffler pick up his ball in the fairway in the playoff hole? They had lift, clean, in place the entire tournament due to weather. So, yes. CertaPro Painters of Gainesville is the area's leader in painting excellence and proud partner of the Florida Gators, offering professional painting services for homes and businesses, plus cabinet refinishing and carpentry repairs. Visit CertaPro.com for a free estimate. We got our man Buddy Martin here from the Buddy Martin Show, talking a little bit of everything today. All right, buddy, let's go to the Titan MR text line here real quick. I don't know if we've ever asked you this. This is Simon from Englewood, Colorado, chiming in this morning.
Yeah, my old.
What is it? Yeah. Is it 2 hours in Colorado? 2 hour difference?
Yes, 2 hours.
6. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. He says, who do you think is the greatest TV broadcaster of all time?
Wow. That's a good one. Depends on the era, and the sport. Old timers might say Howard Cosell because he mixed it up so much. It was controversial. He was the most hated and most liked telecaster on TV back in the day. John Madden would get some votes in there, certainly in football. Some people would like the guys like Dick Enberg and guys of that nature. I'm not a big Enberg fan. I'd have a hard time pinning it down to one, because I go back to the radio days, and Ben Scully was in radio and in television. He never quite translated to TV. But if I had to say that today, the highest paid is Tony Romo. He's not the best. I don't know, Shane. Who would you say?
No.
Who would you say?
That's an analyst.
Gosh,
I'm thinking right now who I think the best guys at everything. I think Mike Tirico is just freaking outstanding. I think Sean McDonough is outstanding because he does everything: football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Tirico does everything as well. Those were probably my two. I don't.
But I got to put
like
Jim Nance in that mix. Jim Nance has been good for a long time. He's covered everything.
Yeah, Jim Nance is good as well. So that's a great question. Appreciate you listening early in the morning out there, Simon.
By the way, Greenwood Village,
Okay.
that's where Parker Valby is out of. And by the way, since we mentioned Tennessee, the Vols, and we mentioned Denver, I got my guest tomorrow night. Woody Page is going to be on the program tomorrow night. Woody and I served together out in Denver a number of years. He's a happy camper that his Vols won, so he just got voted into the Hall of Fame out in Denver. So Woody Page tomorrow night.
Very cool. Tony on Facebook Live says outfield this year was kind of slow and couldn't throw anyone out. Agree. But fixing that in the portal. Sear will play left field. Yes, he will. And the Stetson kid will play center field. Yep, that's what I've heard as well. Andy wants to know, buddy, have you ever covered the Olympics, and what are your favorite Olympic events?
Yeah, I did. I covered Montreal, and I covered I covered LA in '84. I tell you what, the decathlon's a heck of an event, and a heptathlon in the case of Anna Hall, who I just love, by the way. I think she's fantastic. Of course, you got to like the 100 meters. It's popular naturally. Um, I would say if I had to pick one event, I love the relays too, by the way. I would probably say the decathlon.
Okay. Text on the Titan MR text line from Johnny in Destin, Florida. He says, I would like for Buddy to rank the Gator sports on campus from elite downward.
The teams, the coach, of the program.
He says sports, the sports on campus.
Oh, well, sports on campus. Well, elite. That's that word again, Shane. We talk about this all the time.
I think he's trying to take a jab at you.
Well, no doubt about it. I understand that. I can take it. But the point is, just to put in context again, the comment I made was about the program at this juncture. I'm not talking. I could have gone back to Shane's day. You said, what programs are elite? Football would have been it. It's not now. Is it an elite program? No. Basketball program, Billy Donovan, elite, yes. Now, no. And so at the time when things were going sideways, and even Sully was concerned about it, they were having a tough time getting to 500. And we talked about it. And I said, I'm concerned because they're not playing well right now. They're not playing in elite status. Okay. It's not forever. You don't, I mean, obviously softball and baseball have been playing like an elite team, but that doesn't make the program elite because are they elite now? I'd say yes. I've come around that way. I think I've said on the show, I thought they were elite programs, but at the time when they were struggling, I had a hard time saying they were elite. So, Subi.
Well, here's how I would rank the programs on campus. I would put track 1, softball 2, gymnastics 3, baseball 4, or gymnastics and baseball would be tied, then swimming underneath them. Those are the only elite programs we have on campus right now.
I'll go along with that list. That sounds good.
Yep, for sure. There's a Facebook Live here that I wanted to see here. Okay. Mark says, and I wanted to get this, kind of gets into football. Before we get into football, Gary's question on the Titan MR text line, I guess it's for both of us, is any chance y'all think Texas talks with Sully?
We just addressed that, I think, earlier, and I don't know. I guess they don't get their guy. They probably put 2 or 3 names in there, and I would think Sully would have to be on that list, wouldn't you? Right?
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, one of the listeners, and I saw this somewhere on Twitter, that Sully's like the 6th or 7th highest paid coach in the SEC. Mark on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, says, guys, looking forward to football. What's it going to take to bring back the Gator bait chant?
Yeah, I'm for that. Let's bring it back.
Such a great tradition away. I'm all for that, Mark.
Yeah, let's screw that. Let's start a movement on this show right now. We want Gator bait back. I think that was one of the great cheers.
Yeah.
I go back forever, and I could remember from the day I first set foot there on Florida field. By the way, Shane, here's a note for you. Last night, the Panthers won their first title, as you pointed out. State of Florida's 9 major pro sports teams have now combined to win 12 championships after the Panthers were hung on for 2-1 to win. So the Jaguars are the last team not to win. They've never won one. So every other pro franchise has won a national championship. And Shane, you missed the big story today. Florida won another championship. Florida won another championship. You didn't hear about it? They won
Today?
the concrete canoe team, won their 4th national title. All right.
What kind of canoe?
Concrete canoe. They claimed their 4th title, 12-member team.
Hmm.
It's Spring Seeker Concrete Canoe, plays first overall Saturday in the American Society of Civil Engineers Student Engineering Championships in Utah. UF led the top 5, followed by University of Laval in Quebec, California Polytechnic in the University of St. Louis Obispo, Virginia Tech, and Western Kentucky. U.S. Concrete Canoe Team also won the ASC's virtual competition in 2021 with Gator, and their canoe Forever Glaze took top honors in 2015, while the Tom Petty theme Free Floating won in 2019. Go Concrete Canoe.
Are you saying concrete, like concrete on the
CONCRE, like cement? Concrete canoes, yes.
Interesting. Well, congratulations to those folks. I had no idea of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of football, Bobby in Fairhope, Alabama on the Titan Amar text line says, buddy, do you have a surprise team this year in the SEC?
Which way, bad or good?
Well, I don't know. I can't ask Bobby the question. I just read what he sent.
You know what? I said this last night, and I'm going to put it this way. I'm not dodging the question, but Shane, you know this to be true. I call this residual impact. It's like in boxing, when you fight a lot of good boxers in a row. It takes a toll on your body. These guys are lining up now every week almost against elite athletes. They're going to get pounded. The players that are the best shape, conditioning, or whatever, and mentally and physically are going to hold together in November, and those teams will break through. If you don't have depth, you can get the crap beat out of you. So I would say a surprise team. I'd like to say Florida, but I can't say that right now. I'm not sold on anybody at this point now. I expect Georgia will be back. Ole Miss is going to be a factor. So I'm not buying into Tennessee just yet. So let's go with the Gators. How about that?
I think that's a good one for sure. Asa says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law. Good morning. I think it's being a little overlooked that Gator basketball is on the upswing. Gator baseball major miraculous run of the World Series. Gator golf is spoken about in an elite manner. Football has an insane schedule, but like you said, I think we're going to be better on defense. And if our defense is better, we should be at least be middle of the road team. Yeah. So we're growing and building. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it. We stand by it. A few more minutes with Buddy Martin here on the Titan Amar Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Text here, Buddy. And this is from Don. He says, Shane, in my opinion, if the Gators are going to surprise people this year, they have to be more explosive on offense. Need to score lots of points.
Throw the ball down the field, I was told by former.
I agree. But look, do I want to be more explosive? Do fans want to see more explosive plays? I absolutely. But Don, you're missing the point here. For the Gators to surprise people this year, let's go back. We have to tackle and we have to rush the passer.
Yeah.
If we just play average defense, I'm going to say it, average, we win 4 more games last year. We have been historically pathetic on defense the last 3 or 4 years,
especially third down.
And everybody keeps wanting to point towards the offense. People, I'm not saying now, we have been horrible. I don't even know if horrible is the right phrase to use or term. I mean, it's been ridiculously bad. So if you improve at all on the defensive side of the ball, you're going to win more games. You're going to be in games. And I think they have added some good coaches on that side. I think they've added good players in the transfer portal on that side that are definitely going to help. But it's amazing to me how people continue talking about or saying this about the offense or that about the offense. I get it. But, folks, it's all about the defense for the Gators to have a decent year.
But, you know, Shane, also, and your coach did this, sometimes you can use your offense as a defensive weapon. Steve did it by going
What?
for it fourth down naturally, able to keep the defense off the field. Having a running game keeps the defense off the field. Those are all factors. And of course, as you say, if you make 2 or 3 stops a game, everything changes completely. And I think there are safeties now. That's where a lot of the majority of tackles were missed. I think there's safeties. They got 3 good ones now. It will make a big difference. So yeah, I look for some marked improvement on defense.
Yeah, it's look, the offensive, I think we averaged around 30 points a game. But I can't tell people how bad we are. I mean, I can't explain to you how bad we were. We could not rush the passer at all. We could not tackle anybody. We let people behind us. You're going to see a lot more zone coverage, I believe, keeping the ball in front of you, which I am fine with. And then you're going to get people calling your show, buddy, calling my show. Why do we give up the slant when it's look? Would you rather give up the slant or let them throw it over your damn head? Yeah. Look, there's the percentages of driving the football 70 yards or more, even 50 to 60 yards or more. Something bad will happen to the offense if you don't give up a big play. You're probably going to get an illegal procedure. Now you're 2nd and 15, or you're going to get a holding call. Just usually something bad happens to the offense if they have to drive the length of the field. That's what we have to do.
So I agree, Shane. I think the difference is, though, and I heard Josh Pate say this also, is that the kind of penalties they have been getting are disheartening. It's one thing when you miss a tackle, whatever, but when you get too many men on the field, wrong jerseys and all that, that's that's mismanagement, and that's what Gator fans understand.
Yes, those are procedural stuff that basically before the play even happens. You can't those things are going to get cleaned up, in my opinion. I'm talking about just the getting after the quarterback. I mean, when is the last time we really got after somebody's quarterback? I can't remember. And I'm not talking about sacking. I'm just talking about harass them, get them off their spot, make them not feel comfortable.
Gotta have some edge rushers, man. Gotta have some edge rushers in there and some blitz packages. I don't know. You're right, though. It's got to be fixed. The question is how has that been missed the last 2 years? Why is it that way now?
Well, it's been not just under Billy. We were not very good on defense under Dan either. This text says, I sat through 0-10-01 as a little kid. That defense was better than what we have had in the last few years. Look, Florida's always had good defensive players. You should have athletes, man. You should have athletes living in the South. And it's a huge year. I'm telling you right now, for this team to have a good year or a great year, it's all about defense. It is all about defense. You will not change my mind one bit. All right, buddy. I want to propose to you before we let you go. Last night you talked to me about, you asked me, I think it was you or maybe one of your listeners asked me, how much do I think DJ Lagway will play this year?
Listener did, yeah.
My answer was, I don't think it will be a lot. Mm-hmm. You mentioned a package that could be the case. I think if that is the case, that it's kind of being forced to do it because I do not want a true freshman playing in the Southeastern Conference. You got a 6-year quarterback that's in complete control. His team believes in him. This is Graham Mertz's team. But you think they're going to play DJ a lot, right?
I do. And I think I've heard this secondhand, not third or fourth, is that he's been told when he came here he would play. And, I can't prove that, but I have a very good source who told me that. I think I've seen it done both ways. I've seen it done both ways in pro football. I saw John Elway start as a rookie when he lined up behind the guard and take the snap against Pittsburgh. What's your choice? You got to get a guy some reps. Like I told you last night, you said, well, don't do that with the game on the line. Well, look, the kid can hand the ball off, can he? I mean, you get the ball at the kickoff, get it back to the 35 or 40. You put him in the first series and run 3 running plays until he gets comfortable. Give him a chance at least to get on the field. Because you don't know what if Mertz gets hurt, what if he goes down. You got to be able to play two quarterbacks in today's world. You and I don't agree on this. I think they should have a package for him, at least one set of downs a game.
Yeah, we definitely disagree, but that's the great thing about talk shows. You can agree or disagree. Text here on the Titanamore text line, buddy. Defense was actually top 40 in third down defense conversion. The issue is total defense, 69th, and turnover margin, which was 5. We only had 3 interceptions all last year.
I
Just
know.
getting the turnover margin and the positive would be huge.
Got to make some plays in the secondary. You got to make some picks.
Well, I think our secondary is outstanding. I'm one who loves our corners, but people hate our corners. The reason our corners have struggled is because your front seven
No pressure. I guess.
Or has stunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cliff says the last time we had a good defense when Jeff Collins was the defensive coordinator. So, Andy says if we happen to have a 3 to 4 touchdown lead versus UCF or Stanford, does Lagway play a good portion? That's fine with me there. I just don't know. You know, Joseph says got to win by more than one score so you can get him in the game with no pressure. Yeah, I just look at it differently. I've been on too many teams that tried to do that, and it never really worked out great. And look, he may get in and make some plays, which would be great, but boy, I'd hate for things to go bad.
I'd hate to see him leave. Buddy, I know that.
Well, look, we can't worry about what DJ's going to do in the past. This is about 2024 football season, make or break for the Florida Gators. I don't care if we put in a 5th-string quarterback to win football games. I don't care who the quarterback or the tailback or the right tackle is. We have to win football games, and then if people want to leave, that's fine. We have to win games. That's the way I look at it. I don't care who it is. You got to win games this year, and you have got to beat the Miami Hurricanes in game 1. Bottom line, you have to.
We don't disagree on that, but I think you can do both, Shane. You can do both.
So let me ask you this, buddy. So you want to play DJ so he doesn't transfer?
No,
we got other.
Wait, don't say that. I didn't say I don't want to. I think it's one of the things you think about. I think you play because you ought to play him, and there's opportunity to get some experience to make the team better by playing him. So I'm not saying I'm doing it out of fear. It's one of the unintended consequences that could happen at some point. I don't think it will. I think this kid's here he's a lifer as a Gator. But you can do this. Your coach did it some. You didn't have to sit much, but he'd have a game where he'd start backups. You know, you got to play him, man. You know, it's a happier team.
But he didn't just put guys just in the game. Those guys had experience and understood what was going on. Look, what I'm saying is, as a coach, Billy Napier has to feel comfortable. So here's one thing as a play caller. If you do not trust your quarterback, if you're going to make a play call and you're sitting there scared to death, the kid should not be playing. Let's just take DJ's name out of it. I don't care who it is. So if he's good enough to run a package or whatever you want to phrase it as, okay, I'm fine with that. But if the coach does not feel comfortable putting someone in the game, you cannot put that kid in the game, no matter who it is.
That, Shane, but remember, let me take you back to Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow. Okay? It worked pretty well for him. He got him on the field.
All Tim did was run quarterback power.
I don't care what he ran.
If we want to do that with DJ, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
We want to just run him between the A-gap.
You weren't listening. I said, put him in the game when it's safe. Let him hand the ball off a few times. Then let him throw short passes. Tebow, it worked out well with Tebow. Where they have been without him, you got him there. Use him. In my opinion, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying just put him in the game randomly or take a chance of losing the game. It can be done. And I think Urban proved that when he brought Tebow in the game.
Well, we'll see. Like I said, as a coach, and as a guy who played this game a long time, there's nothing worse than putting somebody in there that you're scared to death or they're not comfortable. And if DJ does go in, I prefer not the short passes. because short passes are very, very dangerous. Throw the ball deep. Deep passes are the safest passes in football.
Okay.
So
You stay on that.
All right, buddy. Who you got on your show tonight?
Well, I have our favorite, David Whitley from The Sun. And by the way, Rob Brown from SEC Sidelines wants to have you on his show sometimes. I said I would ask.
Tell him to text me.
All right. And yeah, of course,
just tell him to text me.
Starring Meadows tonight on the program. So come join us at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can get us on YouTube.
Good stuff, buddy. Appreciate your time. That's Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll come back. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security Systems. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our Gridiron sponsors, CertaPro Painters, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45. Our touchdown sponsors, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods.
If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, and we are going to be joined on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp, Tom Mason, who's the president of the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club, and he wanted to come on and talk about who their speaker is this Thursday night and how you can get involved if you're interested in the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club in Gainesville. Good morning, Tom. How you doing?
Good morning, Shane. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. So y'all are, it seems like this is kind of early to start having a meeting. Y'all excited for football season, huh?
Well, we meet all year. In the off season, we only meet once a month. But when season starts, we meet twice a week, and we really kick into gear then for sure.
All right. So y'all are having your first meeting of kind of leading into the football season this Thursday night, and you got the new DB coach coming to speak.
I know you were speaking about how important defense is. Look who we're having as a speaker. Yeah, I agree with you, Shane. If our defense doesn't step up this year, it's just going to be another terrible year. It's a big,
no question. So
a lot is riding on
Will
them.
Harris is. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, we're looking forward to having Will Harris out, and I want to give a hat tip to Gator Boosters, Paul Vasilla, for helping us get him as a speaker. We meet out at the Fairfield Inn. It's this Thursday. Happy hour starts at 6. The meeting starts at 7. We get great drink specials from the Fairfield. come on out as our guest. If you like what you see and you want to come back, membership is only $125 a year.
All right. And so basically, is there a way for somebody to join y'all's club online, or do they have to come to the meeting and do all the paperwork and stuff there?
I'll put a link into the Facebook site, but if you go to our website, which is very easy, fgtc.org, that's fgtc.org, you can sign up there. But the best way to become a member is come on out to a meeting.
All right, very cool. And then do you have a list of potential speakers for the rest of the year, or are y'all still working on that?
Well, we have Danny Sheridan coming out for his annual visit to us, and I'm sure you know him. He's an international odds maker from the USA Today, and he's a member of the club and a longtime friend, and he always has some great insights to share with us. Our other dates are open right now, but we are busy trying to fill them. I believe we're going to get another assistant coach out from UF, and we're working on some other exciting speakers.
And then in y'all's group, the one that kind of takes y'all take a away trip, or is it to the Georgia game y'all get on buses and have a good time?
Well, we do some other away trips if there's demand for it, but we definitely go to Florida, Georgia every year. And I've just been in intense negotiations for this year's plot of land, which we have to renegotiate every year. I'll tell you what, real estate down there around that stadium is in very, very high demand.
I bet. Well, Tom, we appreciate you coming on to talk about the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club. One more time, let everybody know if they want to come here. Will Harris speak Thursday night, what time and where?
Fairfield Inn. It's just south of Outback, just off Archer Road, in between the Hammond Bank and O2B Kids. Happy hour starts at 6. The meeting starts at 7. Come on out.
All right, good stuff. Appreciate your time, Tom, and appreciate you listening to the program. And we'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right, take care, Shane. Go Gators.
All right, that's Tom Mason from Florida, the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club. Wanted to come on and give them a little plug. They do a great job out there. A lot of fun group. Trust me, very, very, very fun. If you're in town and you want to be a part of a Gator Club, they're a good one to join. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. The NBA draft, which I think is tomorrow night, but in 2015, Kentucky center Karl Anthony Towns was the first pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Again, if you missed it, we talked about it. Tennessee Vols are your national champs in baseball, and the Florida Panthers win their first ever Stanley Cup 2-1 over the Edmonton Oilers. Tomorrow's program, we'll have Mike Morgan from the SEC Network. We'll also have JC. He and I will do our Peachland Dental golf picks. And we're just around the corner. Football season will be here before we know it, folks. So get ready. Take your vacations. I think it's going to be an exciting year for the Gators. I really do. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food, Tropical Smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. Text on the Titan More text line from Michael. He says, Shane, you're pretty adamant about not playing DJ Lagway this year. No, I didn't want it to come across like that. What I'm trying to say is just because he was highly touted, Billy Napier and his staff have to feel comfortable putting him in the game. You just don't do it just to do it, because you only get so many possessions and so many plays during the course of a football game, and sometimes you don't even know how that's going to work out. Some games you may run 80 plays, some games you may only get 55. So you can't. They may have a package for him, and I'm thinking they might. So he's got to be really, really comfortable with that. And it's got to be base stuff, because you don't know how the defense is going to prepare or line up against him. You know, there's a weakness to every defense. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. There is one weakness at that defense, or maybe two weaknesses that you can exploit. It's the quarterback's job, the play caller's job to exploit that. And, I think you'll see more audibling possibly with Graham Mertz changing the plays. You know, there's really not a whole lot of audibling in college football in today's world. It's usually like check with me's. They'll have 2 plays called. One will be kill, 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 which means you go to the second play, or if they say let it roll, that'd be the first play. So we'll see. But I'm all for DJ. I just want the Gators to win football games. And it still goes back to tackling and affecting the opposing team's quarterback by rushing the passer. If we can do that, I don't care how hard the schedule is, embrace it, go play it. I think Florida has a chance to have a tremendous year. It's the best team with depth. Buddy talked about you got to be deep in this SEC nowadays. We have not had much depth. I really believe the players we added on defense are so much better than what we lost. And we're going to miss Ricky Pearsall on offense. There's no question about that. But they've added some pieces, some guys that can plug in place and hopefully help this team go. But I think we're going to be fine on offense. Got to clean up the special team stuff, which I think they're going to do. But again, defense. And the crowd on August 31st, the crowd can affect the Miami Hurricane offense and Cam Ward, as I said multiple times the last couple of weeks on this program. Cam Ward will never or has ever played in an environment that he's going to walk into on August 31st. Never. So that's going to do it for today's program. Again, you can follow our program on all the different podcast platforms out there. If you have anybody that has a business that wants to be a part of our program, shoot them our way, and we'll give them some good publicity. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is looking for an enthusiastic, motivated comfort specialist to join our team. $1,000 sign-on bonus after 90 days, awesome benefits, and the opportunity to grow with a winning team. Apply today at ComfortTemp.com. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Mike Morgan, JC, on the program on Wednesday morning. Take care.